Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Chloe and today I'm joined as always by the wonderful Ellie and Katie.
Hi.
Hello.
Coming up on this week's episode, we'll be sharing a glimpse into our For You pages, quick SEO wins to gain traffic, along with another Instagram feature the world is going crazy over. Stick around to the end of the show where we'll be discussing some of your burning DMs. Guys, I feel like on this podcast we love to chat non-stop basically about how much we love TikTok and how much we use it both internally here at Giraffe and in our own time at home. We are pretty much as addicted as you can be. So I thought today it would be fun if we give the listeners a glimpse into what's on our For You pages, because I know we're all on very different sides of TikTok, and that there is no dispute about.
I feel very attacked by that statement.
That was specifically aimed at you, Katie.
Sorry.
So what trends and audios are you currently loving on TikTok? I feel like this is going to be a very telling segment.
I mean, I'm going to go for the least revealing things about my For You page, because as we've already established, my For You page is a very cursed area. However, I've been very much enjoying all the Encanto TikToks and like the sounds I've been hearing, especially the We Don't Talk About Bruno. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie yet.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know all the words to every song just
honestly,
through TikTok.
I don't know what it is about Lin-Manuel Miranda's music, but like that he just knows how to write a song that will get stuck in your head for like years.
Certainly.
Like that, any of the songs from Moana, amazing. But like, We Don't Talk About Bruno has just become like such a TikTok hit. I don't know how. I think it's because it's got like so many different parts that people are just falling in love with.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the most recent version of it. It's like I don't know if you've seen, but it's like the people who are like walking.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen that one? I don't know how to explain it. It's like a really cool. It'll come across your For You page eventually, I'm sure.
For the listeners and for Ellie who don't know what Katie's referencing, check out the Giraffe TikTok, because may or may not have made use of that particular sound grab.
Exclusive content. No, I love that one so much. My favourite version I've seen of it is like of my mum going to sleep after a long day, and then 12-year-old me walking into the room to tell her I needed this full list of ingredients for food tech tomorrow.
Yes. I saw that this morning, actually.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I was like, oh, it's me. But like on the more normal side of trends, I guess, I really enjoy, it's like a particular TikTok song that's on TikTok at the moment. It's Rosemary Grows. It's like My Love Goes, My Rosemary Grows. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
Yes.
That one's so cute.
Yeah, it's like such a cute like song, and because it's trending at the moment, there's just so many videos under it, and you can just repurpose it for anything at this point.
It is actually adorable. I think that is one of my favourite sounds actually at the moment.
Yeah, I've had to add it. It's like on my songs I've found on TikTok and love playlist, because that's the thing I have now.
Oh, that's so cute.
Ellie, what's over on your For You page?
I think I've got like a real mix on mine. But I've got like the are you new here? And then like the click. It's like yeah. So I love that. I think I just love the sass. I haven't done it myself, but maybe I'm gonna have to come up with that at some point. What was the other ones? I don't know whether you've come across, I wouldn't say this one's my favourite, but it was like on my For You page so much, like at the beginning of the year, like December time. It was like I think it's like I love you to infinity.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like and everyone yeah, and it's just such a funny trend, like such a random trend, but I thought it was quite funky. I'm just trying to think. Oh yeah, and the I'd give you I'd give you a 0, but I
Oh,
can't
the
remember how it
Tyra
goes.
Banks
so
one.
bad. I want to give you a 0, but I can't, so I give you
Give
a
you
1.
a 1.
Oh.
Yeah, I just think that's so funny, and like people are properly taking the mick out of themselves, which I think is fantastic.
My
I do
favourites,
love
like,
self-deprecating TikToks.
Mhm.
They
yes.
are the best.
They'll be like,
If you
oh yeah,
can't-
this outfit I wore when I was like 10 at an all-inclusive like holiday, and I thought I was like the hottest person around.
That's the thing. If you can't make fun of yourself, then
Totally. I mean,
Exactly.
TikTok is an app where you shouldn't by nature take yourself too seriously. So I think that's why the self-deprecating ones perform so well.
definitely.
What
What
about
about
you,
you,
Chloe?
I'm glad you asked, guys. I was just getting there, but thank you for the prompt. I don't know. I'm currently falling into netball TikTok. I don't
Okay.
know how I got there or
Interesting.
what I kind of did to trigger the algorithm, but I've been seeing a few more of those recently, which is not really a trend, but just an interesting insight. But a trend I have been loving, we were just saying off mic that there's not really been an app-wide trend that's united everyone on TikTok since like, I don't know, like the Adult Swim type sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I love, by the way.
That was so good.
It was so good. And people are bringing it back as well. And this song, they're like, this song reminds me of summer, which is so true. Like every time I listen to that song, I'm instantly like transported back to like, I don't know, what was it, June 2021 or something.
Yeah.
But talking about current trends, Elmo and Rocco took over my life for a brief period, really encapsulated how I feel. I feel like I am Elmo, and Rocco and that yellow Sesame Street character can just get out of my way. We did use the audio over on the Giraffe SM TikTok, and it did very well. We did roast LinkedIn a little bit, and
I
LinkedIn,
loved that TikTok.
yes, so did LinkedIn. They responded to us. That was very nice to have a verified account kind of notice us roasting them. A little embarrassing. I'm glad my our MD didn't fire me for that one, but we are currently mending relationships with LinkedIn. But yeah, those are my two kind of sides of TikTok that I'm on at the moment. But thank you guys so much for sharing yours. I always love to have a little nosy and to see where people are on the For You page. And we'd love to hear where you guys are at. So make sure you interact with us over on TikTok or Instagram at GiraffeSM and let us know. Moving on to our main segment of this week's episode, we are going to be dropping some easy SEO wins to improve your blog or website traffic. If you're like me and just the acronym SEO alone is enough to scare you into never looking it up, don't worry. There are plenty of search engine optimization tactics that you can apply without any significant expertise or experience. It's important to remember that SEO is a long game strategy just before we get into things. But if you follow some of these best practices that we're about to drop, you'll watch your site gradually improve in rank. So today, Katie, Ellie, and I are here to provide you with some quick wins to help you leap forward in the process. I think the best place to start is ensuring there's an audience for the content you're writing. This is where writing keywords in mind becomes crucial. Isn't that right, Katie?
Oh, I totally agree. Like I've kind of only recently like properly delved into SEO stuff, and I didn't realize how like essential keywords are. And like I feel like they can be very easily overlooked because it's just like, oh well, my writing's just keywords, right? But it's not. It's a lie. And there's like a really good way to find like the best keywords for your article, whatever it is you're producing. And there's like so many search extensions you can use. So I personally use Ubersuggest. It was recommended to me by another content writer. And it's a Google Chrome extension and free. Got to throw that out there. Not sponsored, but it's free. We love free. So what happened is I'll Google ideas for a blog or an article or anything that I'm writing. And it will tell me the best associated keywords, like in that Google search. It's just like a little bar at the side. And then those keywords are then like broken down by volume of searches this month. as well as like competition in other organic searches, as well as the average cost per click. So if you wanted to pay Google for it to be seen as an ad, it'll cost you more. But if you want to do it purely organically, it also has the information for that. And usually what informs my keyword searches will be like, you know, like I said, what I'm planning to write about. So it will quite often be my title, but then my title will also be impacted by the keywords, because that will then inform the title description and also the keyword section that you have on like almost every blog platform, because, you know, that's just the best way to send it out to the people who actually want to see it. You know, it's the best way to work out, like, is there an audience out there who are gonna want to read what you're writing? Because there's nothing worse than spending all that time and then no one wants it. So, I mean, I've just searched a time to talk day. At Giraffe, we're very into wellness, and that's like a day that's coming up, Mental Health Awareness Day. And like just at the side, like it's broken down the volume of searches with recommended keywords. So the one at the top is Time to Talk Day, obviously, because that's the name of the one. And that's got 2,400 searches this month because it's an upcoming event and everything. And then underneath that, you've got Time to Talk Day 2021, and then also 2022, which is interesting that 21's above that, but you know, it's probably people searching for last year's resources. And then as it kind of informed, it has things like questions as well that people search for. So these are all just things that will just help like break down how to write your article and the keywords that you should be featuring to target those audiences. And interestingly, the more niche your topic is, you know, the more likely it is to rank highly in those searches. So if you're, I mean, the example I used is quite a big topic at the moment because it is an upcoming event. But if you are, you know, if you're writing for someone who is very niche, I don't know, they do like power tools or something. I don't know why I went to power tools. I think I'm too into like house renovation TikTok at the moment. And it will just be like a certain topic like that might get you higher up in the results because not a lot of people are kind of searching for that. And, you know, as we've said before, the more niche you are, the more like dedicated an audience you're going to get, you know? So yeah, keywords, essential.
Absolutely. But just because you're using keywords in your content, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed the top spot in the rankings.
Exactly.
So, right. Remember that you're competing against hundreds and thousands of other experts, agencies, and businesses. So the next thing to do is see what works and do it better, right?
Yeah.
What do you suggest, Ellie?
So going off the back of what Katie just said, I think the next step is obviously you've now got your keywords in mind, and then you want to kind of put them into Google and see what content kind of comes up within the search engine rankings. And then you're going to want to basically recreate that content based upon what's performing the best within the search engine rankings. So it's kind of seeing what's working well and then do it better is basically the simplest way to put it. So you also want to kind of filter through the content within the search engine rankings as well, and kind of analysing what they're doing, which you can also do and replicate yourself. So whether it's the structure of the content, the length of the content, or, you know, the actual content itself in terms of like the topics, and whether you can recreate that within your own content as well. Bonus points for how many times I've said content within that. But also like linking into that is double checking like the quality of your content is also really important within the search engine rankings, because obviously you want to drive more traffic to your website, and the way to do that and increase your popularity is to give like the visitors a reason to come back. So obviously your content needs to be high quality, recent, and also relevant within the search engine rankings. So that's linking back to, you know, the type of content that is performing really, really well. And you need to learn what SERP is, so the search engine results page.
Yeah, I think that's where I see a lot of people talking about platforms like Ask the Public. I think those are a really great way to kind of help you create that fresh, relevant, up-to-date content in a way that kind of one-ups what your competitors are doing, because you know it's all well and good if you have this topic and you can see that other people are talking about it, but the chances are that if other people are talking about it, the question's been answered many, many times. So using platforms like Ask the Public kind of help you search out those questions that people are asking that you yourself might not have considered, but that you definitely have the answers for. So I think that's a really important aspect as well, that helps you kind of search for those keywords, as Katie mentioned, search for things that is relevant and that other people are talking about, but in a way that helps you put your own kind of spin on it and makes you stand out from the crowd, right?
Yeah, I mean, also quickly going off what you've just said, is although it may seem, you know, counterproductive to like blend in with what is performing well, that is your best way of kind of getting the results that you're wanting and driving traffic to your website, because obviously those are the pages that are performing well, so there's nothing to say that yours wouldn't do the same.
Totally, absolutely. I think as social media managers, our favorite part of content marketing is crafting killer captions and headlines. So naturally, this quick win is probably one of our favorites, guys. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But it's crafting the perfect blog title to capture the attention of your audiences everywhere. Katie, why don't you talk us through it?
I love a good blog title. Like I think it's probably that like part of my goblin brain that just likes that little snippet of information, and I just get clickbait so easily. It's such a problem. But I mean, blog titles are better kept. Like, there's no need to overcomplicate them, right? You don't have to have them like incredibly wordy, like paragraphs and paragraphs of title, because that's just not what it is. So, you know, include your keywords that you've already found previously. That's such a good way to, you know, start your title so it actually shows up in search engines. But also, like, keep it snappy, keep it short, because you're going to have your title, but then you're also going to have, like, a little description. Because, you know, if you pick up a book, right, you don't have, like, the whole plot of the book in the title. You just have the title on the front, and then you have the blurb on the back. Or most books you do. Some you don't. But, you know, that's why that's there, because it gives that little bit of extra information. The title's just the hook, right? So in that title, it's quite good to appeal to emotions as well. And we've talked before in here about, like, appealing to your clients, like, to their pain points, any issues they might have that you can then fix. You know, lists also are great titles. Everyone loves I love a list. I remember when BuzzFeed, when it was at its peak.
The listicles.
Oh, yes, I love listicles. And then I personally really enjoy a question as a title. You know, like, why this is this, you know? That's
totally.
It's very
vague. Even better, it's like, are you bad at your job? I'm like, yes. I don't know, am I? Like, let me go and check.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like the best hooks.
Yeah, you can create a question that people have never really thought about, and they're like, am I? Is this? What is this? And that immediately is the hook. They'll read the description, you know, find a little bit more about it, and then they'll be more inclined to read your article as well. It's just like some really, really easy tips just to get you started, and then you kind of work from there and see, you know, what titles have kind of worked, what haven't. That can be indicated on, like, you know, the amount of clicks or views you've gotten, because if people don't care about the title, they probably haven't clicked on it, right?
Absolutely. And if you don't fancy yourself the best kind of headline writer, one, you know, maybe you shouldn't be writing blogs, but there are plenty of free resources that help you create those killer headlines and those killer kind of titles that are going to help really hook people in. So fret not if, you know, you're kind of banging your head against the wall going, this isn't catchy enough. Doesn't have to be the most, you know, dramatic, unique headline in the world, but if you are struggling, definitely do a quick Google search, because there are lots of websites out there that will help you kind of brainstorm those ideas and give you a bit of inspiration.
Totally.
Okay, well, now it's time for the scary stuff. What we've mentioned so far are some really quick and actionable wins to boost your traffic, but there are a few technical tweaks you can make when writing your blogs or web content to boost organic traffic. Ellie?
Yep. Let's go. Let's get into the nitty gritty. So you may or may not know, but headings are the second thing that Google's bots scan for when deciding whether to serve a piece of content up to searchers, so within the search engine rankings. So formatting them correctly is an essential piece of the SEO puzzle. So they're broken down into what they call meta tags, to kind of break down the headings more easily and simply. This may sound really complicated, but once you get into, the rhythm of things, it does make sense. So I'll try and explain it as best as I can. So to start off with, you have H1, which is typically the biggest heading at the top of the search engine result. So for example, it could be I'm trying to think of an example, skincare explained. So that could be your heading. And then underneath that, you'd have H2, which is slightly smaller, but has a bit more of a description, I guess. So I could go, what's the best skincare for me? ? And then you could do H3 and H4. So further breaking it down, and adding a bit more of a description each time. And then you could say, why do I need this skincare for myself, etc., etc. So that's kind of like a way to break it down into sections, and just make it much more simpler for the search engines to recognize your content and boost your results. So formatting your headings in this way is not only the best practice from an SEO perspective, but it also makes your blog or your content, whatever you're trying to convey to readers, much more digestible and clearer to read for them, which again will just boost your traffic and will get them to come back to your content as well. So it's a win-win all round, really.
Yeah, and speaking of readability, this may be such an obvious tip, but you've got to write your blog with readability in mind. No one wants to read a poorly written, tons of grammar mistakes, tons of spelling errors, repeated words, things not making sense. And you don't want that, right? No one wants to read that. So a good tip for that is run it through something like Grammarly before you publish it, right? Which should be very obvious, but I know for a fact it's not to a lot of people. But Grammarly, again, it's a free extension that you can get, because I don't know if anyone actually buys the premium one. I don't know a single soul who does. But that will cover all of that. And as well, I know we were talking about keywords earlier, but make sure that your blog isn't just your keywords that you're just trying to shove into sentences and bloat it out and stuff. Because, it's not going to read well, and Google will penalize you for it, because they'll kind of view it more as spam than, content. And then as well, bullet points. Always bullet points. I love bullet points. And that kind of goes along with the whole, the headings that Ellie mentioned, is a good way to break up each individual bit. And it's good for skim readers like me. Because not everyone wants to sit and read a whole wall of text, right? And then images as well. It's another good way to break up your text, and because especially since most people read stuff on their phones, right? So is nothing worse than loading up an article on your phone and it's just nothing but unformatted, just wall of words, right? So if you can break that up with the headings that Ellie mentioned, and also images, you can even have links to other pages embedded into that. It's just stuff that makes the user experience so much better. And the more time people spend reading it as well, the more valuable it will seem to search engines as well.
I mean, jumping in really quickly, yeah. I definitely agree that internal linking within blogs, articles is such an invaluable way to kind of engage readers even more. Because I often find that if I'm kind of skimming through looking for certain content, going back to my looking for skincare options, if they say to me, oh, this is a great product if you have combination skin, for example, I'll be like, fantastic, and then I'll click on the link. So then it's just proving to the search engine rankings that your content is good, and will automatically kind of help boost it up.
Nice, guys. Well, thank you so much for that info. That was just a handful of quick SEO wins to help boost your web traffic. I hope the listeners really enjoyed this segment. If you want us to touch on more marketing topics along with our classic social media episodes, just let us know and we'll be happy to deliver you more. now it's time to dive into our top social media news story of the week. In one of the more exciting rumored updates coming from Instagram in the last 12 months, it seems like the photo sharing platform is looking into a new feature that will allow users to rearrange their profile grid. What a game changer that could be. For a bit of context, earlier in the week, the app researcher Alessandro Paluzzi tweeted screenshots that appear to show Instagram testing the new feature that would allow us to rearrange our grid however we see fit and as often as we like. So Instagram is yet to confirm or deny this new feature, but it already sounds like the best update ever, just personally. What do you guys think?
No, I like it. I love it when Instagram comes out with a brand new feature that is like exclusive to them, because it doesn't happen very often, let's be honest. But, you know, that's just me being bitter about Instagram. However, I do really like this. I think, you know, it'll be good to know, like, if when you move the grid around, like, is it going to kind of stay there when you upload new posts? Is that going to completely, like, disrupt it? And then, like, you have to go in and move it all again? Or is it going to be like you have the opportunity to pin some things exactly where they are, which could be good if you've got, like, I don't know, like a banner or something. Like, I just think like the banner potential, but that could also be like the part of like the back of my brain that's still like 12 years old and like runs a fan account on Instagram, and like the bane of my life would be like I'd make a banner like across three posts, and then I'd post another thing, and then it would completely get disrupted, and I would be so upset. But no, I really like this. I think it's got like quite a lot of potential. Yeah, no, I think it would be a game changer. You know, you could have like your most important post like up at the top.
Definitely. I mean, I coming at it from a slightly different perspective, just as someone in the influencing space. I hate to bring it up every episode, guys, but you know, we usually, a lot of us have kind of these external apps that we use to kind of plan our grid weeks in advance and move things around and see how it looks. And before those days, I actually used to upload a picture, quickly take a screenshot of my feed, then delete that picture just to see how it would look. And then if it looked good, you know, you'd upload it. And if it didn't, you wouldn't. So it would be really great. And, you know, Instagram loves being the top dog and eliminating the relevancy of other apps. So I think the integration of this feature would kind of cut out that middleman and allow people to kind of shift things as and when they like, because you know, the archive feature has been revolutionary in that respect. Again, coming purely from an aesthetic perspective, you post something and, you know, week 1 it looks really good, but by week 3 it doesn't really fit the feed anymore. So you go ahead and archive it and everything looks clean again. So I think this would help to aid that, but yeah, also kind of help us not have to have a million other apps to kind of plan our social feeds and whatever else. So I hope it's true. I really do hope it's true, because I think it would be awesome.
I mean, just jumping off the back of what you guys said, I mean, I don't have too much to add, but I love the concept. I think it's a really great idea. And like Katie said, you know, it's kind of in the way of TikTok in terms of how you can pin posts to the top. It, you know, it's kind of in that sense, if you wanted to use it for that sort of purpose. But yeah, again, like you said, with your influencing as well, Chloe, like it's such a good feature, and you know, can benefit not only individuals but also businesses as well. So it's like a multi-purpose tool for everyone. So let's just wait and see if this actually materializes or not.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine being able to just, instead of, you know, we love repurposing content and the work smarter, not harder mentality. Imagine, you know, moving a post about an old product back up to the top of your feed again, because you know, TikTok, you might not visit someone's profile, you just kind of catch their content in the For You page. But Instagram, you definitely visit profiles a lot more often than you would, especially, you know, going to look at your favorite brands or discovering new brands. I would straight up just be moving old posts back up to the top, you know, create some new content just so that we, you know, keep the algorithm in the works. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's so cool.
Oh, that'd be so good. It takes like the pressure off of like daily posting as well, because we all know like Instagram loves like more regular posting, but you can't always like create that much content.
Yes, no, that's so true. I'd be super interested to hear if anyone is against this new rumored update. So if that's you, please make yourself known. I promise we are open and accepting to all opinions here at the Draft Social Media Podcast. So, give us a DM on Instagram and let us know how much you hate this new update, if that's you. Moving into our slide into our DM segment, we are going to be answering some of your burning questions sent to us on social media. Today, we asked you guys to send in questions all about SEO, and you asked, how long will it take me to see an increase in traffic with SEO? Take it away, guys.
I will happily take the first bit of this one. Obviously, I feel like we all know that SEO obviously isn't an overnight strategy. It can take months to maybe, up to a year, dependent on, how quick you are to implement these changes that we've previously mentioned in the podcast. But obviously, traffic is typically a direct result of an increase in rankings. So all interlinks. But once your rankings begin to increase, you'll also begin to see gradual increases in traffic to your website. So it's just, worth keeping in mind to make those changes, kind of track those changes and how your results are responding to that. And keep in mind that new rankings and traffic are not instantaneous, as I previously mentioned. And like I said, it takes a few months to complete the necessary updates and things that we've previously said before you'll begin to see these results.
No, I totally agree. And I've talked a lot about keywords already, so I might try and keep this brief. But obviously, it's good to stay relevant with your topics because, when a topic's relevant, more people are searching for it. But I think, you should never neglect evergreen content. This is just content that will just stay around forever. It's not tied to a time or anything like that. People will just come and pick it up whenever, like we were saying with that skincare article that Ellie was talking about. Anyone will pick that up at any point. The information, you can update as it goes along, but generally, it'll all stay the same. And with evergreen articles, you can kind of use longer tail keywords. So these are keywords that may not be that relevant right now. However, they pick up less traffic overall, but they will slowly creep up the search engine results page, which in turn, will get you more engagement in your content. So like we said, it is a waiting game. It's not an immediate thing, but definitely evergreen content is something that should never be overlooked. It may seem slow, but it's very beneficial to you.
Nice, very well answered, girls. Thank you so much for that, and thank you to the listener who sent that one in this week. Stay tuned to the next episode for the next listener question. That's all we've got time for today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or give us a follow and rate us if you're listening on Spotify. We've been Draft Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.